Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something because of what other people might think? Maybe you wanted to start a YouTube channel, speak up in a meeting, wear something different, share an idea, ask someone out, or simply be yourself. But then a familiar thought appeared. What if people judge me? It's a thought that quietly follows millions of people through life. And today, I want to share something that might set you free. Nobody cares, or at least, not nearly as much as you think. Imagine walking through a busy city street. Hundreds of people pass by. Some are thinking about work. Some are thinking about family. Some are worried about money. Some are replaying an awkward conversation from years ago. Everyone appears to be watching everyone else. But in reality, most people are occupied by their own concerns. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. It's the tendency to believe people notice us far more than they actually do. We imagine a spotlight following us everywhere, highlighting every mistake, every awkward moment, every imperfection. But the spotlight exists mostly in our own minds. Think about the last stranger you saw. Can you remember exactly what they were wearing? What they said? How they walked? Probably not. Not because they weren't important, but because your attention was focused on your own life. And the same is true for almost everyone else. Yet countless dreams remain unfinished because people fear judgment. They never start the business, never publish the video, never share their work, never take the first step. Not because they lack ability, but because they imagine an audience that barely exists. The truth is surprisingly simple. People are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. And this is not a sad truth, it's a liberating one. Because if nobody is paying as much attention as you think, then you're free. Free to experiment, free to fail, free to learn, free to become someone new. Consider a child learning to ride a bicycle. They fall again and again. They wobble. They crash. They make mistakes. Yet children rarely stop because of embarrassment. They simply focus on learning. Somewhere along the way, many adults lose that freedom. They begin performing instead of living. Every decision becomes a public performance. Every mistake feels permanent. Every opinion feels dangerous. But life was never meant to be lived from the audience's perspective. It was meant to be lived from your own. Of course, some people will judge you. That's unavoidable, no matter what you do. If you succeed, someone will criticize you. If you fail, someone will criticize you. If you stay the same, someone will criticize you. The goal is not avoiding judgment. The goal is becoming less controlled by it. Because judgment says more about the observer than the person being observed. People often project their own fears onto others, their own insecurities, their own limitations. And if you spend your life seeking universal approval, you'll spend your life waiting for permission, waiting for certainty, waiting for a moment that never arrives. The most interesting people rarely follow that path. They create, they explore, they risk embarrassment, they risk failure. And because of that, they grow. Think about every person you admire, every artist, every entrepreneur, every creator, every leader. At some point, they chose action over approval, not because they were fearless, but because they understood something important. The opinions of strangers are temporary. Regret can last a lifetime. One day, years from now, you won't remember every awkward moment. You won't remember every criticism. You won't remember every uncomfortable conversation. But you will remember the opportunities you ignored because fear convinced you to stay small. The life you want is often hidden behind a wall of imagined judgment. And on the other side of that wall is something remarkable. Freedom. the freedom to create, the freedom to speak, the freedom to try, the freedom to become. So the next time fear asks, what will people think? Remember this. Most people are thinking about themselves, just like you. The spotlight was never real. The audience was never as large as it seemed. And perhaps the most freeing realization in life is this: nobody cares nearly as much as you think. And that's good news. This is the quiet upgrade. Small shifts, extraordinary lives. Until next time, keep becoming who you were meant to be.